Okay, we are going to get back, and the first tables have already started. So actually, probably I'm going to move one of these tables away. This is going to be probably the least interesting one, because we are going slightly deep in a $15 game. And as you can see, the games that are non-rebuys are going to go a lot quicker. Like this is probably the first rebuy we started, and there's 3 times more players still remaining. And we can see like how many add-ons, like 140 add-ons. That's more than I thought. I thought that there would be something like 110 add-ons done. Okay, going to be quite an easy call. And that's actually the last turbo I have that I started. All the other games that are still going on are going to be. They are going to be these rebuys. In here, I'm thinking about my fold equity with a small raise with a shove. I think that in general, I'm going to get pretty comparable fold equity here with a bet, but I still think that I can do an exploitative raise fold, since I don't think that these guys are going to be 3-betting me too much. And it for sure doesn't look for an MTT player that I would be raise folding in there. And Virpa says that, yeah, just not enough for pro for sure. Just thinking of the first time when one should add those. And there's also one point that in these games, it's going to be really likely that you are going to mix stakes, and you are going to like mix different buy-ins, mix different stakes, because it's going to take a while to get enough tables open. So, and in here, something like 8-5 suited we could have open, but when we are having a really short stack in the big blind, and when it's going to be really unlikely that we are just not going to get the pot, then when we are having a big card, those big card type of hands are going to be more important. But so something like an ace, even with a small kicker, would be a lot better in that kind of situation, when we are going to have like any two range of this ace jack kind of a guy, instead of like queen 5 suited. It might be better, and it might be more playable hand in some ways, like, or queen 8 suited, I don't remember anymore. It might be like nicer hand to play in general, but still, when you are getting against 100% range, then just one big card is going to be enough. And in here, we also can't just think about that we are only against this guy, but we'll need to also think these two guys in. So our range in general will be tighter in those situations. From early positions, I don't think that we should be raise folding too much. So this is most likely because there are like 2 players that I already can see that are probably going to be players that are going to be nice players to play against. Or like from Kyber's last day's coaching, that he has a tag of good customer. Like when we are having good customers on the table, then I'm thinking that we can do some more exploitative. In this case, like if this guy would have something like 7k stack size, I think that this could be a good reshove. Actually, this guy does come all in so rarely that I think that we are still going to be. I think that King Jack off is going to play strong enough against the really short stack race here. And this guy doesn't take part in the pot nearly often enough, so it wouldn't be good. Of course, now we get like royally punished for it. Like it's not even like he could have pocket kings as well, but ace king is like as punishing a hand against king jack as can be. In here, in general, if we are having like less than half of the pot, we probably need, if we are having no ICM pressure, we just need to call like every single time. And in here, we can see that 27 places are paid. We are 7th out of 29. So this means that we are going to be in a bubble. We are going to be in a good spot because on the bubble, we are having the larger stack. And why it's always like, this is one of those spots where size does matter. No matter what you have been told, size does matter. Like in this case, we are going to get more fold equity against these shorter stacks. And I think that we got more fold equity against the shorter stacks, but still not enough to make them fold a really great hand. So what do you do? It's really close. I think that both options are going to be really close there. Should I want to raise something like 6-7 suited or not? I think that's going to be a good question to ask on our chat. On that kind of a spot, should I raise 6-7 off? 6-7 suited. We are pretty close to the exact bubble. We are going to have one of the shortest stacks right now. What do you think? What would be a good thing to do here? I'm opening the hand history here, so to remind you a bit what has happened there. So what do you think about this hand history? Should I raise or should I fold, and why? I think we have had it online long enough. And in here, it's going to be pretty nasty because it's going to be either this hand, the next hand, or the hand after that. I don't think that we are going to, like, ICM in this situation is not going to be horrible. We are going to have additional risk premium here, especially since a lot of our stack value is going to be like survival value. Okay, this is hand for hand play, so this is even more nasty. Like in general, in these games, the first place finish is going to be so much more valuable that usually going for a min cash is not going to be good enough option. In here we can also see like what's going to be the shortest stack size. Oh, we can't see the... And in here we can now see that first of all we are in the money, but not in a way that we would like to like pop champagne open. We are in the money and we are making something like 25 bucks on this game, so not too shabby, but we want to get more. So most likely on the next hand we are going to get it all in, and then we'll just, first of all, we are going to hope that we are going to have a, we are hoping that we are going to have a decent hand to go all in with, and after that we are going to hope that we are going to get lucky. Okay, the first one didn't go that well. We are having a crappy hand here. But then it's going to be a question that, do we get lucky? And Miss Post says fold. And good evening to Danita as well. Raul Vegas's range is going to be like, we pretty much know that we are flipping here. On the top left corner, we pretty much know that we are flipping here. On average, is it going to be enough? I don't think so. And we did get lucky against King Jack off. And now we are going to try to play aggressively, try to put some pressure on these guys. Even the worst part of it is that the bubble has already burst. The bubble is the place where we can, or it's the stage of the tournament that we can add most pressure on our opponents. And like right now, we don't have that much. We don't have that much opportunities to add pressure anymore, so. Then we are going to play a bit more value-oriented game and not go for pressure that much. Of course, we are going to try to play aggressive. And as we are having something like 8 big blinds, and if we are ante-adjusting or tournament adjusting the big blinds, we are only having 5.2. So we need to take risks here. And in a way, this is also why poker is going to be such a hard game to learn if you are just playing poker and not analyzing your hands. Because like in these kind of situations where we are going to be short stacked, we are going to be forced into situations that we pretty much know that we are not, like, we are putting money in the middle, but all the time where we are getting called, we are being screwed or at most flipping. So like these kind of spots, those are going to feel bad when we are seeing our opponent's hands. Well, I know it already. It's something that it would probably feel bad if I wouldn't know that this is going to be plus EV anyway. So this is one of the reasons why analyzing hands is going to be so important, because your feelings on the poker table, if you are just trusting on like how you get your money in at certain spots and what kind of hands your opponent happened to have right now, and not thinking about the whole range your opponent or the whole range of your opponent's hands, you are going to feel so bad even though you are doing a right choice at some point. And I think those are going to be, for most players, those spots that when you are doing something that you know that it's going to be good, but you know that every time you see your opponent's hands, like when you are betting on fold equity, you are going to, like, those are going to be probably the hardest parts for most players to do those plays. That, and one of the things is that you are going to, like, additional pressure that you are going to feel so bad. You are going to feel so bad because you're also going to look pretty stupid when the cards are turned. And that's something that as a human we usually don't like. But we are getting an all-in situation here, like 7.5 big blind raise, and we are going over the top with ace queen. In here, pocket fives, we are going to get it all in, especially as there's only going to be Masiek remaining anymore. Oh, well, one of those times, we are still having decently sized stack here. Not great, but decent. And we need to get lucky here. Like, if there would be a time to hope for some 3s and 9s, hoping for some 9s, okay. Just hope enough. It works. This is going to be hanging by a thread, and when I'm looking at it right now, I probably should have used more mental energy into hoping to get a 5 at the previous hand where I could have gotten the like 20k pot rather than for this 5k pot. I think that was like wasted hopes in a way. King 8 suited, if it comes folded to us, we are going to shove it all in and hope for the best. Actually, we are not going to shove it all in, we are going for a bit of a sneakier move. So trying to increase my fold equity a bit here. Even if someone like this that is a good customer would call me here, I'm still going to have some more options for myself, as I can still shove the flop and still have another opportunity to have fold equity on my opponent there. So that's why I'm not that worried, even if there are good customers behind me. Okay. Now we have gotten our fair share back. Or at least we have gotten our fair share back, and probably a bit more. I don't know though. But we are surprisingly during one orbit, we have put our money in like probably 3 or 4 times, and we have gotten up from 19th or 20th position to 6th, and one player has already also been eliminated, so quite nice. This is not a final table stack yet. Like on the final table, the average stack size is going to be, I think the average stack size is going to be about 30,000. So we are not completely convinced that we are going to get the final table yet, but we are at least having good chances of getting there. Could you mark the king queen hand on the top left corner? Okay. Let's see the hand as well. Should probably be quite interesting hand. Thanks long ago for the comment. And we are going through the hands after the session. Trying to get some more turbos going on. And in here, Mamba Negra, I almost folded there, so that's one spot where you know why it's so good in about doing the small raises. Okay, what did he have here? And Danita says that I think that the ace queen off against the UTG +1 versus UTG is going to be quite close. At least it's going to be bottom of our range. Yeah, it's going to be bottom of our range from the offsuit aces. I think that we can do ace jack suited there as well. But it's mainly because the first stack size was going to be so low, like it was something like 6 big blinds. And in here with ace king suited, it's going to be really hard to like imagine even any situation. Like if these 4 guys would all be going all in, then I could have folded like ace king suited, but it's going to be a really rare situation. I think that the ace queen off versus the UTG opener, I think that's going to be one of the spots where if you are playing one table sit and goes, and if you are playing these games, like this is going to be a spot where the ICM is going to usually limit your options pretty. ICM is going to limit your options a lot in those spots, but I think in these games you can have some more freedom in taking part of those pots, especially if we are like, even when we are like 51st, the ICM is going to have a really small effect. And this king 7 off, actually probably not a good idea. Probably not a good idea. Even when we are having 4 big blinds, I'm thinking that probably it would be better to just save my ammunition. I'm going to hate this so much. Okay. I have seen like the room, or like in some car repair shop or somewhere there was a table like before engaging mouth, make sure that brain is in gear. And I'm thinking that we should have something like that in poker, like before clicking, make sure that brain is in gear. Coffee should help. I hope coffee helps. Because I'm not that happy about that decision. It's probably even a bit worse as I was part of the plan D on getting Kubernetes session online last night when he was having plenty of problems with his network connection or computer or something. And right now I'm having like 90-second delay, that or 2-minute delay, that I'm not used to having, so I'm going to be waiting on the result on how the chat is going to react to that. And now I noticed that our lovely admin Deja has posted an ad on the Twitch's chat on that please subscribe. On our YouTube channel we have over 600 poker videos already, from wide range of topics ranging from cash games to sit and goes to pot limit Omaha. So we are having quite a variety of videos there already. And also, if you like these broadcasts, like or follow us on Twitch as well, so you'll get a notice when we go online the next time. And it also makes us feel warm and fuzzy when we see that there are many people following us. And also, we are having a really friendly forum out there that's having more and more vibrant discussion every day. So look also on www.pokerimania.com/forum. or go just to pokerimania.com and click on the English part. So one part of our forum is in Finnish and one part is in English. And Cody says that coffee is plus EV. I hope so too. It's not going to be plus EV for my good night's sleep, but it's going to be plus EV for me in the games, I hope. Like a min race out of this Lossos guy. I think that Eistenhoff is going to still be, like against the random, it's going to be slightly too bad. In here, we are seeing that we are having only 5 players remaining on our table. So we are going to be really close to the final table. And we are just hoping that we would have options to get our stack in and let it multiply. Like the stack is happy when it's in the middle. The stack is growing when it's in the middle. It's a bit like they are saying that your muscles are only growing when you rest. It's a bit of the same in the poker world, that your stack can only be growing when it's in the middle. I think like any 2 cards is going to be good enough to shove against an unknown player here. And we are against pocket 9s, so that's pretty premium hand for our opponent. No worries, we are having plenty of tables outside, so I can just flick another table here. Then it's a thing that should I get more fold equity here? Nah, just going to get it in. And this guy is having the only shorter stack than ours, so we are pretty much screwed here. Not badly though, but... And that would have been a really nice pot to win, but... not right now. Oh well, we'll get the next one. Really nasty that we have had this Remini Rabia next to us on the table, because he has been really aggressive, and when he has been really aggressive, it has really cut into our spots that what we can have on the table. Four big blinds, and I absolutely hate folding there. I just don't think that we are going to have a good enough hand there. Trying to hide our stack size a bit here. So I think that if I shove here, I'm going to next to never get his blind. But if I min raise here, there is the off chance that he's not going to notice my stack size. He's going to fold some weak-ish hand here. But nope. Not folding that hand this time, and we are out at 10th place. And 10th place, it isn't too bad, but it's not the final table. And we are not aiming for not too bad, we are aiming for great. And as I said, no worries, we are having plenty of tournaments going on, so it's just a matter of moving one there. Now I might start to get get slightly worried of how many games we are going to have. There's still going to be one rebuy coming up, so ace-9 off, we are going to shove it in. No, we are not going to shove it in when this Polish guy did have the chance to push all in before us. This is actually, I remember this guy, and he's a solid player, so let's mark him as so. I think that this ace-queen off is going to be strong enough here. Like pocket sixes, that's something that would be expected. And pretty nice to see some confirmation that shoving ace-9 off would have been a pretty grave mistake there. And right now it's going to be quite interesting to see in here, like, we don't need to panic as much as normal, as there's going to be a really small stack on the small blind. And why we don't need to panic as much when there's a really small stack on the big or the small blind? Because if there is a really small stack on the either of the blinds, that gets eliminated during a hand that we are going to get our blinds first, the button would move here, and when button would move here, we would skip one big blind there. And skipping a big blind when you are having a crappy short stack is going to be awesome. And now it's going to actually be really likely that we are skipping a big blind. We can actually skip even the small blind. Nah, only the big blind. Still going to be good. In here, if our opponent bets, we are going for the old check raise. Check raise, ship it in. If he folds, it's okay. If he calls, we are going to have a good equity, no matter what hands he has. Like pretty much we are flipping, even like he had a top pair and we are having like a flip on the flop. That sounded funny. And Kauris84 said that does not look like a good session, but need only one game and the session is winning. Yeah, like we can see here that on 180 players, like just winning 3.5 or even getting second is probably going to be enough to make this session a winning session. But usually in MTTs, if you're not getting those top 3 finishes, you are generally not making money. So we hope to get at least one of those. Okay, we are having decent stack sizes around. Less than 4 big blinds and jack 7. We can't get any fold equity against this largest stack here. Like no fold equity whatsoever. This guy is 3-betting against UTG. It's probably going to be this is probably going to be the top part of the range, and it's going to be quite a question. Should we call or should we fold? I think a fold is better. Like his range Can actually also look that one up. Like, what kind of range do we need our opponent to have there? In here, even when our ace-9 hand is going to be great, it's still going to be better. Like, when our stack size is so small, it's going to be better if our opponents are going to fold more against us. So we prefer to get folds in that kind of a spot, even with a good hand. Even with a hand like ace-jack, I would prefer to get folds rather than get my stack in the middle. Probably something like pocket jacks or pocket queens or better. Those probably be the first hands that I would like. I would like to have a situation where I get my chips in the middle against someone. And Kauris said that jinxed. Just hand starts holding. Yeah, it's going to need those as well. And now it's going to be really nasty. That's going to be a spot where I think that our opponent is going to always have a better hand than we do. Of course, we are having quite a nice stack size, so if there is someone getting eliminated on this hand before us, we are still going to get the min cash, and oh my gosh, it's going to be a great hand here. Like, no surprises there. There was another player eliminated on the same hand, but unfortunately, I think that he had the larger stack size there. How do you know that? I was at the same table. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Can you mark the jack 7 off? I can try. I can try if I can still find it. We are having, like, against an unknown guy. Even though we are having great price, we are having a hand that flops great, we are having position, but our stack size just going to be... Our average stack size just going to be so low against... So I don't think that even... Yeah, this is probably the hand. But should we fold or should we shove here? I hope that was the hand. And Kauris says that queen 10 off is a fold because of bubble. I think that it's going to be the complete opposite. It's a shove because of the bubble. Like, I'm going to have the complete opposite opinion, because on the bubble we are going to have more fold equity. Even though we are also risking more, our opponents are also risking more, and it will affect on their decisions even more than ours. So of course, when we see that our opponents had like ace jack and aces there, it starts to be like, if we know that our opponents are having those hands, then it's going to be a pretty easy fold. But I don't think that our opponents are going to have those hands too often. Or let's put it this way, I know that our opponents are not going to have those hands too often. Trying to find some more hands. Not trying to find some more hands, trying to find some more games. And as you can see in these games, pretty probably, you don't have too much. You don't have too many hands on your opponent, so HUD is not that useful in these games. And I think that you can do quite well with even a really simple HUD. Like I think even something really simple like having just like VPIP and PFR and the amount of hands would be I think it would be sufficient in these games for the average player. Like I don't have too much, or as I don't play these games exclusively, I don't have too much. And I remember even when I played more of these games, it might be that I have played like with an opponent about 20 games, and we have had hands in 2 of those games together. So even if you are playing a lot of tournaments against the same opponents, in 180 months it's going to take a lot of time before you are getting a good sample size. But there are some really good hands marked. And thanks for Mispose and Kauris for the last comments. I think those are going to be interesting hands to look through later on. Then I'm thinking that should I take like a ton of tables right now to increase the amount or increase the probability that we are going to see at least one other table going far. I wonder a bit. And I think I'd agree with Virpa there that if we would have a really small stack, but when we had like 6 big blinds, we are going to have fold equity there. It's going to be really important for us to be increasing our stack size there. And even if we risk our whole stack, we are like 20th stack on the, so there are going to be 8 smaller stack sizes than ours. And when there are going to be 8 smaller stack sizes, it's going to be that when it's hand for hand, it's still going to be quite likely that we are not even risking our whole stack there. If it makes any sense. Like there's still a good chance that one of our opponents will still bubble even if we risk our whole stack there because of the hand for hand. And the fact that we didn't have the smallest possible stack there. But it's always good to be thinking, and I think that most people are going to be a bit too tame at the when the money starts to matter, and it takes some courage to do the most optimal choice in most spots. And it's something like you should remember that it's never one-sided. So if you are scared at a spot, you should like take note of those spots, because usually it will be that the other players at the table are afraid of those spots. And I think it would be golden right now to like tap into my brain what had happened when I played these games, or when I played the MTTs the first time around, because it would give so much insight on how a fishy player would act. Yeah, I think that I have been a fish too. earlier on. And there are like certain spots that are set that like we are in MTTs, we are just playing to win, or we are just playing to cash, and when we cash, then we start to play for the win. I think that's not going to be completely true. Like for me, tournament poker is that I'm always going to play for increasing my tournament equity the most. So I'm trying to find the place that we that the place that I can increase my tournament equity the most. And it's going to take into a tournament equity is going to take into account the situation on the tables, the price structure. So, but like simplification, usually going for the first place or going to increase your stack size is going to be really good guideline for the first tables. And only near the bubble and in the final table you should be caring about the situation, I think. Because those are going to be the spots where there will be most bubble factor, most ICM pressure involved. Oh, this is a really nice flop. I agree with that flop. Or not I agree, I approve of that flop. Like if I have ever said that PokerStars trolls have pushed a doom switch, this isn't such a moment. I think now it's like in this bottom left table, now it's like sunshine and rainbows. And sunshine and rainbows are good. Of course, it would be even better if we would have a double rainbow here and we would get someone stack here when we are having those pre-pocket kings. No, we don't want to have action here, we want to have action on this table. Of course, two stacks. Excellent, excellent. Oh crap. No worries. It worked out fine in the end. It worked out really fine in the end. I lost one flip on another table and I didn't care at all because I got the more important one home. And we are at second in chips here. That's not too shabby. The largest stack is 37,000, so really close to the chip lead. Of course, chip lead doesn't matter at all at these points. In here, we actually got through the bubble and I didn't even notice the whole bubble, so probably not too many spots that I should have even cared. Virpa approves on my approval. Yeah. And hands are holding too well. I don't need any chinks. I wish, I wish. How do we get the best out of this? Pocket jacks. If we would be in the big blind and everybody would fold to us, then it would be like the first time ever that pocket jacks would have been played perfectly on stream. Like now I'm getting 3 flat calls and then I'm getting like ace queen, ace king queen flop and need to raise fold these pocket jacks, but no. Just trying to think about how do I get the most chips in. Perhaps I need to get re-jinxed by Kauris or something. That wasn't too good. It's nice that we are having like when we are doing a stream on gambling, of course that it's going to be a mature audiences only. So then we can say ugly words like crap in here. Or you can do it in chat as well. But it's pretty nice to see that comment just as I lost a big pot on another table here. I know what hand Virpa was talking about, and the hand was really awesome, but the hands after that haven't been so awful. Or haven't been so awesome. And Kauris says that pocket jack should be maybe a fold. Yeah, like that's going to be the safe play that if you are going to misplay it, you are only going to misplay it by an ante or something. Okay, ace king. Seems to be a nice hand to get it in. I think this opponent will shove something like pretty much a lot of suited aces. Even something like king 10 suited here, probably. So we are going to be in really great shape with ace king. Oh wow. Kauris says that then fold because flop is ace king x, and yeah. I think that my comments were like perfectly timed there. Like who said you couldn't have interaction with a 2-minute delay? You just need to predict in advance of what are people going to say in the chat. And Kauris, I know that you said it before. Long ago asked, how many hands do you prefer to have from villain to rely on the HUD for VPIP and PFR figures? Like we are getting general idea out of 10 hands already. Like if we are having someone that plays 6 hands out of 10, we are pretty much knowing that he's next to never going to be a good player. But like we can use it to classify after 10 hands. 10 hands, and after 100 hands we are going to be quite close to the real VPIP because it triggers on almost every hand. But on something like fold to c-bet, like when should you trust it as much as you trust like VPIP and PFR? That's a really hard question because like against regs in 9-handed games do not put themselves that much into situations where they would be against the c-bet. And when they don't put themselves into situations where they would be facing a c-bet, it might be that we are having like 10,000 hands on our opponent, but we have had something like 2 or 3 triggers of. Something like 2 or 3 triggers of this. Something like 2 or 3 triggers of this. Two or three triggers of this fold to c-bet. So that's going to be the statistic that if I'm seeing a tournament player using fold to c-bet statistic, I know that he hasn't thought about his HUD at all. Like, that's going to be a statistic that, I don't know, I have something like 5 million played hands. I probably have a good sample size with fold to c-bet. I have good statistics on fold to c-bet in spin and goes, where there are going to be situations where people are going to get c-bet, but I don't think that, like, in MTT sit and goes, I have played probably something like 800,000 hands of these. I don't think that I have a sample size on anyone yet, so we'll see. Perhaps I'll need to just play a couple million hands more, and then I might have someone that I have sample size with on the fold to c-bet. But now it's time for a break. Let's be back at 5 minutes.